Tuna, book of Richard Ellis, page 79. Zane Grey, one of the first of the big game fishermen. Zane Grey, considered the most mature of big game fishermen, at least until Hemingway came along, had been christened Paul Grey after the color Queen Victoria had made popular in 1872, the year of his birth. He grew up hating his given name, changed the spelling of Grey to Gray with E, and renamed himself Zane after his mother's family, the Zanes of Virginia, who had founded Zanesville, Ohio. The author of popular Western novels in the 1920s and 1930s, Gray was a passionate big game fisherman, spending most of his not inconsiderable royalties. His books sold 13 million copies on fishing trips, boats, and gear. In addition to books like Riders of the Purple Sage, he also wrote about his fishing experiences, and in Tales of Swordfish and Tuna, 1927, he described his battles with giant bluefin tuna, first in California waters and later of Nova Scotia. Gray admired the tuna so much that his writing approximated the furry excitement of a tuna feeding frenzy. Here is an example written in 1925. The giant Nova Scotia tuna, if he struck a trolling bait, would demolish the tackle and jerk the angler overboard. I have no idea what a splash he would make, but it would be tremendous. Bluefin tuna at Catalina, hitting a bite attached to a kite, make a thrilling strike. A bulge appears behind the skipping bait, then the tuna dives. Smash! He makes a round cracking circle of foamy water, the bluefin hitting a trolled bait, as was the method before kite flying. Makes the same kind of a strike, only magnified in every way, and of course, the angler gets the full benefit of that powerful smash. With Captain L.D. Mitchell, an Englishman who worked in the fishing tackle department of Abercrombie and Fitch in New York, Gray headed for Nova Scotia in 1924. Near Liverpool, with Mitchell accompanying him in a 20-foot skiff, he hooked a bluefin and fought it for 5 hours. The tuna heaved to the surface. He rolled and gasped, lunged out his huge head, with jaws wide and black eyes staring, a paralyzing sight for me. Then he wagged toward to the bow, his wide back around, and large as a barrel, out of the water. Mitchell called it the gamest tuna I ever saw or heard of. Brought to the dock, it measured 8 feet 4 inches in length, 6 feet 2 inches in girth, and weighed 684 pounds. In the prose for which he was famous, Gray described the vanquished fish. He was built like a colossal steel projectile with a deep dark blue color on the back, shading to an exquisite abalone opal hue toward the underside, which was silver white. He blazed like the shield of Achilles. From the edge of his gill cover to the tip of his nose was 2 feet. He had eyes as large as saucers. His gaping mouth was huge enough to take in a bucket. His teeth were like a strip of sandpaper, very fine and small. The massive roundness of his head, the hugeness of his body, fascinated me and made me marvel at the speed he had been capable of. What incalculable power in that white tail! I had to back away to several rods' distance before I could appreciate the full immensity of him.